Hello, 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 hello. This is Dr. Shara, um, founder, owner, CEO of Be Your Best Yet Coaching and Consulting. And of course, I am a leadership coach and consultant. So I am here specifically to talk to those of you that are my educational leaders, specifically those of you that are kind of on the fence or you haven't quite decided to actually apply. Because as we know, interview season is here. And to be honest, the way that education is, I will continue to say it, is that it's all year long. All right. So I started this conversation a couple of weeks ago with a person that was going through all of the reasons as to why they were not going to apply for an assistant principalship. And then I had in that same, within 24 hours of that conversation, I had the same type of conversation with someone that was actually thinking about applying for the principalship, in addition to someone that's the principal trying to decide if they were going to apply for a particular position at the district level. Okay, so I want us to go back and talk about our conversation, imposter syndrome. And let me make sure that, okay, I think this is the biggest that I can get this right now. Let me try something different. Okay, I think that's a tad bigger. All right, so imposter syndrome, just a quick review of it. So, according to the text, imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern characterized by chronic self doubt and a pervasive fear of being unmasked as a fraud despite evidence of competence and success. Those experiencing imposter syndrome often attribute their accomplishments to external factors, discounting or undermining their own abilities and contributions. And actually, the title of this article is Overcoming Imposter Syndrome and Leadership Roles. Because as I shared with you, I was having these conversations with all of these various educational leaders. And so I went to my trusted friend, Google, and really wanted to try to figure out why. And I can even say for myself, I have been guilty of this as well. So, what I want to focus on today is you really understanding imposter syndrome and overcoming the self-doubt, because as it says here, it's chronic self-doubt, and you're a high capacity individual. All right, I'm a high capacity individual. We have all of the receipts, as I like to say. We have all of the certifications, we have all of the degrees. And so why is it that sometimes we shy back a little bit on ourselves? So just curious. All right, so this is going to zero in on signs and symptoms of imposter syndrome. All right, so let's see if any of these stand out for you. All right, so number one, perfectionism. Anyone need to overcome perfectionism and wanting the need for it to be perfect? Yeah, that's I can share that I have had to work on that over the years. So perfectionism. Let's move. That's number one. All right. Number two, it's kind of cut off, but it's overachievement. So overachievers tend to overextend themselves to validate their worth, often at the expense of their well being. Um, while this may accomplish much, this approach can result in burnout and personal neglect. All right. So, in the quest to say, well, I'm not ready to apply. I'm not going to apply yet because I don't have this. I don't have that. I must have this. I must. That could be overachiever. Now, is it nice to have all the certifications, all the things? Yes, because just like many of you listening, I have all of these things as well. But you don't need all of those things to move to the next level. Okay, let's know that a lot of it has to do with your body of work, what you do day in and day out. All right. So then we have fear of failure. And I know that this can cripple many people. A deep-seated fear of failure can be paralyzing, causing you to avoid tasks and challenges that you perceive as high risk. Someone when I asked for feedback on one of my videos about why people don't hit the submit button, that was one of their things: fear of taking a risk, putting yourself out there. And sometimes, many times, most times, we have to do that, but you will never know. And then I gave the story of, then you wonder, well, why did such and such, how did they get that job? Well, they applied and you did not. All right. And you have all of the things. Okay. So number 5, discounting success. Imposter syndrome often leads to individuals to attribute their successes to external factors. That means it's luck, help from someone else, versus acknowledging, I did it. This is me. I'm a bad girl. Okay? So, all right. Number 6, negative self-talk. This is a big one, especially for women. Negative self-talk involves a constant inner dialogue filled with self-criticism and self-deprecation. These thoughts reinforce feelings of inadequacy and diminish self-esteem. So when you start hearing your inner self saying, "Well, I don't know, maybe I'm not," tell it to politely to hush. Okay, so find another behavior for that. Okay, number 7, procrastination. This was an eye opener for me, honestly. Procrastination often arises from the fear of not meeting one's own unrealistic standards. Instead of facing tasks, individuals may delay them, leading to decreased productivity and increased stress. I didn't know that procrastination could be a sign, or is a sign, of imposter syndrome. But I can, as I was thinking through this, and let me know your thoughts as well. I could see that, because it does, when you procrastinate, it does lead to decreased productivity and increased stress. And the point is that you're avoiding it because you don't necessarily want to deal with it, because you might have a fear of failure, or you think that you can't do it. All right. Number 8, avoiding recognition. Those with imposter syndrome may shy away from the spotlight and avoid receiving recognition for their accomplishments, as it triggers feelings of discomfort or inadequacy. So for this one, I thought about it. I think it's a difference, because you can be humble and receive, as people like to say, receive your flowers and be out in the spotlight very uncomfortable with it, because you don't want to be found out thinking that, oh, I don't know how I got this award. All right. Or why am I being recognized for it? So I think that's the self-talk part. All right. Difficulty accepting feedback. Yeah, I could see this one. of receiving constructive feedback can be challenging for individuals with imposter syndrome. And the reason for that is cut off, but it says remove the quote unquote found out feedback, but you have to be coachable, especially as a leader, especially as a future leader. You have to be coachable. You have to be willing to take a risk, because if you go and watch a couple of my other videos, you have to go and ask and seek sponsors. You have to go and ask people for opportunities, to give you experiences that will prepare you for the next position. You have to be able to look internally and say, when you're deciding to apply, yes, I'm ready, no, I'm not ready, but these are my goals. So let me go and find my tribe that can help me to get there. All right. And last but not least, I just want to end here, because I thought this was really interesting. Growth and imposter syndrome in leadership. So it says about, so interesting, you guys. So listen to this. 58% of tech leaders experience imposter syndrome at some point in their careers. And we know that tech leaders are brilliant. All right. Look at number 2. Among C suite executives, 70% acknowledge imposter syndrome as a challenge in their careers. And again, these are C suite executives. They're they're at the top. Look at number 3, and this is really striking for me as a female, in leadership. Women in leadership roles are disproportionately affected. Listen to this: 75% experiencing imposter syndrome. And interestingly enough, number 4 is well. So I could be a double. Imposter syndrome can be particularly prevalent among entrepreneurs and startup founders, impacting 62% of them. And so the imposter syndrome, the self doubt, can creep in before your business, or your startup even takes off. And it could be even higher if you're a female. Very, very interesting. All right. So I'm curious, of course, as you listen to this, and I would like for you to actually go back and re-listen to this, and really think about, do I exhibit any of these behaviors? And if you say yes, which is okay, because according to our stats, if you're a female, listen to this: 75% of us experience imposter syndrome. If you're a C-suite executive, and C-suite in the educational realm are educational leaders, that's at our district level, at our school level, you experience that. But the key is to know, and the key is to figure out, how are you going to flip the script, turn the page on that. And so for those of you that, where you're not going to apply, really go and think about your skills, your knowledge and skills. Think about the work that you've done. Think about your body of work. Think about all of that. Write all of those things down. And then tell yourself, am I not hitting the button to submit because I have a fear of failure? Am I having negative self-talk? Do I think I need more degrees, more certifications, more such and such, when I have a long list of everything already? So just take inventory of that and let me know how it goes. Feel free to comment below, or send me a message, um, a private message, because this is really curious to me, and I would love to talk to you about it. All right. So this is Dr. Shara signing out. And remember, the best is yet to come. Don't forget to write down all of your accomplishments, all of your body of work, who your sponsors are, what have you done, and then compare that to this list and determine for yourself, am I not applying because of any of these items here, or is it just not the time? And then talk with the trusted mentor or coach about that and talk through it. All right. All right. Talk soon.